Good afternoon. My name is Ron Wampler. I'm the Chief Building Official with the city. Really enjoy working with the city. A lot of fine people to work with. I think our building department's actually the best department there. And Carolyn is probably one of the best staff people in the city. And she's my right arm. I just let her run the front staff, and I just stay in the back and take care of the inspectors and answer the telephone as much as I can and send out a lot of emails. Oh, that's not going to work. Maybe this will work. Good. We're regulated under DBPR, which all the agents and realtors, I'm sure you're familiar with DBPR. We have the Florida Building Commission as part of DBPR. They have a building code administrators and inspectors boards, which handles the inspectors and plans examiner and my licensing. They regulate us, test us, license us. If there's a complaint, they investigate and they can fine us. Licensed personnel in a building department, myself, my plans examiner. I have one plans examiner now. He's full-time, just started last week. All of our inspectors have to be licensed. We do structural, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing inspections. We have to be relicensed every 3 years with 14 hours of CEUs. And the fall of this year, our licenses are going to expire. And plus, we have the new Florida Building Code starting near the end of June. So we're going to be doing a lot of training this year. We also deal and are responsible to make sure that contractors out on the job sites are licensed. There's two types of contractors that are licensed in the state of Florida. We have registered contractors, which are locally licensed in Monroe County. That registration, they can maybe travel to another county if there's reciprocation of licensing. They're regulated as far as if we have a problem with a registered contractor, we have a contractor examining board in the city, and we have hearings. They can be fined. Certified contractors are tested and licensed by the state of Florida. And Tallahassee. Now, if we have a problem with a certified licensed contractor, they still can be brought before our contractors examining board in the city. But they can't be fined like a registered contractor. The report is sent to Tallahassee, where DBPR investigates them and fines them as a certified contractor. Permit applications. We handle all the applications for permits in the city. When it comes in, I know everyone wonders what happens to the application because it takes forever sometimes to get a permit from it. Well, a lot of different departments can have a say in the processing of that application. If it's in the historic district, HARC's going to look at it and issue their certificate of appropriateness as far as a permit. The planning department, HARC is part of the planning department, but the planning department controls land development regulations and anything that may be binding upon that application. If it's a commercial project, it goes to the city fire marshal for fire considerations. And like 80% of the city of Key West and a lot of Monroe County is below flood. So we have a FEMA coordinator who reviews that application if it's in the flood areas. Also stormwater. As we know, when we have all these rains, the requirements nowadays, that stormwater has to stay on your individual lot. The city has its own stormwater system, but we don't want to handle the stormwater from the individual lots. And we have a city engineering department, which is being upgraded with personnel, and they're becoming a much better department. They handle a lot of the city proper projects. In plan review, the zoning requirements that are often dealt with that may hold up the application. We look at setbacks. The construction has to maintain certain setbacks. The fire marshal specifically wants the side yard setbacks maintained, which are usually a minimum of 5 feet and residential areas. He wants to be able to get his firemen and his ladders and whatever else he needs down those side yards so he can properly fight a fire. We look at the percent of lot coverage as far as rainfall, impervious and pervious. We look at the percentage of building cover, which is restricted by the land development regulations. Sometimes a variance will be needed. That sends you right over to the planning department. Signs and lighting is restricted along our boulevards, North Roosevelt, South Roosevelt, and Kennedy. City sidewalks, any construction over city sidewalks or city right-of-way is going to complicate the application. Awnings in businesses that stretch out over the city sidewalk require what we call a revocable license, which is an insurance agreement that the city's not going to be liable. If something's out over the city right-of-way and it's more of a permanent type, like maybe the building outline goes out over the property line a little bit, you're going to need an easement from the city, some sort of renewable agreement. And if it's in the historic district, of course, you're going to have problems. But structural requirements, they've increased now. We have 180 mile an hour ultimate wind speed from the upper Keys on down. So the city of Key West is 180 mile an hour ultimate wind speed. Anything on the exterior of the building is subject to the wind pressures that wind speed is going to develop. Those wind pressures are negative and positive. They act on the roofing in a negative and positive. They try to uplift the roofing or they try and push it in. Windows, doors, and shutters, same thing. Hurricane strapping, try and keep the roof structure connected to the wall structure, connected to the foundation, connected down into the earth. And then if you're in floodplain, it's more complicated. The world of FEMA. This has been brought, I think, into focus more within the last 5-6 years. The FEMA regulations started in, speed it up, okay. Anyway, FEMA, we know about flood elevation certificates, dry flood proofing, all that stuff. Basically now we're requiring 1 foot of freeboard. For new construction, you have the flood elevation. The floor elevation should be at least a foot or more above that flood elevation. The city of Key West is working with the building height to give an allowance if the building's elevated for new construction. We're working with, I think it was in the commission Tuesday night, it has to go to a second hearing. We're going to give an allowance for building height increase. And hire a licensed professional. Contracts should be in writing with specific details and payment schedule. Be aware of the responsibility of pulling an owner-builder permit. The property, if it's an owner-builder permit, the property cannot be leased or sold for a year after it receives its final approvals. That's it. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, the impervious question, when it comes to decks and so forth, we understand that a roof, of course, will make all water go off the side of the building, but when you have a deck, it goes right through to the ground. But that is still considered impervious, yes?
State the question.
You're asking if a deck is, ask the question again, because I'm thinking that if it's over 30 inches, it's not considered a structure. If it's a wooden deck, it's considered pervious because the water will go through it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. That's a great answer. I like that.
All right. We try and keep it simple. Yes?
Is there some site on the city website that addresses the density of structures to the property size? Is there some formula?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's in the zoning, LDRs and under zoning. And it'll give you the percentage depending on what zoning district you're in.
So it does vary from...
Absolutely. Okay?
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can you help me get my...
Yep.
Okay, great.
And we have